And we are back for another week. Journal Star Sportswriters talking prep hoops. It's that time of year.
I miss you guys.
After a week layoff of no snow.
A little snowy last week.
A little snowy. Valentine's Day. Getting ready for our love or the big weekends. Mm-hmm. And speaking of big weekends, we had our first postseason championships handed out a little bit Thursday, and then the beginning of the sectionals yesterday. What have you seen so far here as the girls' postseason started? What's some stuff that sticks out to you?
Well, it ended up being Havana being, as I wrote, the sectional of death.
Right.
I mean, it was Lewistown number 1 versus Princeville number 5, Brimfield number 9 versus Illini Bluffs, which was a 26-win team coming in. They were in and out of the top 10 all year.
They've been in the votes. Ninth, I think, is high. Ninth.
Yeah, absolutely. And, last night that played out. Lewistown and Princeville down to the wire. Brindley Ballman puts them ahead with about 3.5 minutes to go. And then Carly Heffron hits 2 go-ahead free throws. Anna Heffron a big drive. And then, Princeville sent them to the line 6 times, and they made them. And they'll play in a sectional final for the 3rd year in a row. Illini Bluffs.
It's a rematch of last year.
Correct. Yeah. Illini Bluffs, they just keep winning, in the postseason.
Yeah.
From softball to volleyball, now basketball. Well, I mean, all the way back to basketball last year, where they were in this game again. Jumped out to a 10-1 lead on Brimfield and kind of cruised from there. Emma Hicks, a big second quarter. Hannah Hicks, older sister, had 12 of her 16 in the third, and we get a rematch. January 20th was the last time they played. I believe Lewistown won by 12 or more. I was trying to do it without looking.
58-42.
Yeah, 16. So, it was just a lot of high energy. I mean, it was a high energy atmosphere. And,
sure.
And Havana's the perfect place. They have the stage there, and the crowd was full. Lewistown travels so well. I fully expect it to be a pretty, back and forth intense matchup. They definitely have if I can say it.
Constrictions? What are you talking about?
They have different styles.
Contrasting styles.
Contrast. Yeah, I can't say it. Different.
Hey, everybody, we write for a living.
True. Not a talker. No, they just have different styles. Lewistown is, with the press in your face, they want to, take defense and turn it into offense. Where, Illini Bluffs is in the half court. They're going to play in the 40s and 50s with you. They have some bigger bodies. Hannah Alvey's a 6-footer. Hannah Hicks is 5'10". Right. Emma Hicks is 5'11". Peyton Pullman's 5'9", 5'10". So I mean they can get in there and rebound, whereas Sydney Schaefer at 5'8" is Lewistown's tallest girl, and she's doing a lot of dirty work underneath. So sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say we can save a little bit of that later for the look ahead.
Absolutely.
Let's jump over to the bigs. Seems like it's kind of gone as expected so far for our big girls. Peoria High, Richwoods, Morton.
Yes.
So I mean, nothing really there. Anything stand out there?
Metamora rallied last night. Right. This is the 3rd time they're playing Ottawa. They beat Ottawa at their holiday tournament in pool play, and then turned around and played them in the title game. So they played them twice on their own floor in a matter of 3 days. Right. Then they had to, make the 90-mile trek to Kankakee. And Alana Terry was able to really, take charge in the post and, spark a nice rally for the Redbirds, and they got the win there. And Katie Ramage hit a big 3, and so there's
I don't think there's been a lot of surprises so far.
No, there isn't.
I would say, some people might. I was wide-eyed a little bit when I saw the spread at the IB Brimfield game.
Yeah,
but beyond that, I mean, it wasn't a surprise necessarily IB won the game.
No.
But I guess the spread there. But beyond that, I mean, I think Lewis and IB is a matchup that certainly was one we were potentially looking. I was looking for Lewis and Princeville, but the matchup set up where they had to play in the semis. But yeah, and the big side, they've all taken care of business.
Absolutely.
Over on the boys' side, we're starting to wrap up.
Yeah.
Down the stretch here. What's on your radar, John?
Coming down the stretch, just, it's kind of been the same consistency with a few teams. Notre Dame's been winning, obviously. Galesburg. Impressive note on Galesburg, though. They improved to 13-0 at home. Western Big Six champs, still ranked number 6 in Class 3A. They've just been really impressive there, and it seems like they could definitely be one of those teams in the postseason that other teams should kind of fear.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting where I think we'll find out Friday, right?
Friday.
Where everyone goes, because where Galesburg goes will be interesting to see, or who goes to Galesburg. They host a regional, right?
Just based on their schedule too, is we haven't seen them really get a chance to play any team in this area, like you said, outside of Morton, maybe. So,
and Morton's not a part of the Peoria sectional.
I know that's interesting. Yes.
So you get a matchup where they play a Notre Dame or a Metamora. It could be interesting. So,
well, I think it'd be more interesting to see who goes to Galesburg of our Peoria, because somebody's going to have to go over there and play.
Yeah.
In that 4 through 8 seed, because I assume Galesburg will get a top 4, and that's just a matter in that next group which of our teams has to go in there. Could be Manual, maybe
Limestone, maybe, or
I can see Manual going over there because they haven't necessarily put together the strongest win-loss record.
Yeah, so. and it's 1-4-2-3. So
right.
Yeah. Outside of the big school, cool little anecdote last night. Quest senior forward Isaiah Brown became the school's all-time leading scorer.
Nice.
They've only been around for a couple years now, but still he's been putting up a lot of big numbers lately. I think averaging a double-double this season. They beat Canton 63-35 on senior night. He had 30. He pretty much outscored them by himself. I think 30, 35 or 36 points and 16 rebounds. So a really impressive performance by him. And then they'll wrap it up as they go on the road to El Paso Gridley on Thursday. I'll be at that one. So that should be a really good matchup for Quest. And, like we've talked about, Dustin Brooks has really loaded that schedule up, especially being in the 1A level now. So they've played a lot of teams. I think they're more than ready for
I love their schedule. And that was back when, Jenkins had, and Michael Jenkins had, he was able to, schedule pretty much anyone because they're that, independent. And it's kind of cool to see who they, I don't have an advanced copy of their schedule. I mean, I can find that, but I mean, it's cool to see you retweet who they played, Canton, they're going to play El Paso. And,
and even going back to like last year, I know you had them, they were on ESPN3. They played in that 24-hour hoops tournament that had teams from all over the states, and they travel outside Illinois and play teams from Wisconsin and stuff. So it's
they have
really
a little
cool.
bit of. They don't have a JV team, right?
They do have a JV.
Oh, they do.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say. I mean, sometimes schools like to get into conferences just because of the ease of scheduling. Where it's like, I got to deal with a freshman and a sophomore and a varsity team, and dealing with 36, 40 games or whatever. It's easier to just say, hey, I have those taken care of. But with Quest, they can kind of bounce in and out of. They can challenge themselves with big schools while still also keeping some of the smalls on their schedule that they're going to play in the
I believe
postseason.
when they started, they didn't have one, and then as the years have went on, they have a JV team. So,
another note: Notre Dame. They had some good news yesterday.
Notre Dame jumped up all the way to the top of the latest rankings, tied for first, but they are first place now with Niles Notre Dame, and then they looked every bit of why they should be ranked in that spot yesterday. Played Peoria Christian. It's a good first half. Peoria Christian gave them a real battle, and then you blink an eye and they're up 8. It's such an unselfish team to watch. No one's worried about Connor's going to score, Declan Dillon's going to score, Noah Reynolds. They move the ball. If the open guy's there, they'll make the extra pass, and it's just such a fun team to watch on how they all communicate, play such good defense. They're always talking and just move the ball offensively. And they had Connor, Declan, and Noah all in double figures yesterday, and they end up winning by 28.
Who's the other Reynolds?
Nelson Reynolds.
Okay.
So he contributes a little bit. I think he only scored 4 points yesterday, but he's still a defensive factor out there when he's not scoring. So.
Okay.
Just really impressive what that school's done, especially now being number one in basketball and soccer earlier in the year. So incredible what the program's done. So.
Yeah, so we talked about Isaiah Brown, Jalen McCants. Over on the girls' side, some breakout last week or so. Anybody who's surprised you specifically, Adam?
Yeah, last night Claire McDougall had 10 points and 12 rebounds over at Torrey Gym for the Panthers, beating LaSalle Peru 54-35. She's been in and out of the starting lineup. She's a great addition to that team. Great core of young players. Georgia Duncan, her, and then on the small school, Hannah Hicks. She can do it all. 16 points, 11 rebounds, and win over Brimfield. So those were two nice breakout performances that Hannah's been up and down, and she's in the last few weeks she's definitely been more consistent. And Claire, this is I think kind of the tip of the iceberg for her.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Hannah, we'll go ahead and dovetail right into the looking ahead a little bit. It's interesting. Who do you think you saw both the teams play last night, IB and Lewiston, and I don't know if you were at their first game.
I was at both games. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do they guard Hannah? Who usually has that assignment? Is it Schaefer or do they?
Hicks. Hannah Hicks.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see Schaefer, like I said, being their tallest player. She'll probably have to guard Hannah Alvey in the post. So you'll probably see maybe Anna Heffron or Carly Heffron on Hannah Hicks. But she can be. She's kind of like a running back. It's a full head of steam. It goes to the basket. And she can finish through contact, and she can make it from the hit from the perimeter from the outside. I just I think that this game, Jim Robertson potentially could be his last game. He's retiring. Right. Greg Bennett, they're great friends off the court. I think they know each other's styles so well, and they're able to game plan and kind of a flip a coin situation. And I just can't imagine that Lewistown will shoot as bad as they did last night.
That's what I was about to say. Lewiston's one of those teams. They're so good defensively, I think, that they're hard to beat because of that. Even when they do struggle to shoot, they're going to find ways to shut you down.
Yeah, they forced Princeville into 22 turnovers, 13 in the first half, but they shot 17 for 62 from the field.
Wow.
8 for 40 from the three-point line.
And still won by 6, right? Or
yeah,
8? Or
they ended up, and that's just, to see, Carly and Anna struggle as much as they did from beyond the arc is, that's just kind of, well, hopefully they, for Lewistown's sake, hopefully they got it out of their system for that in that semifinal.
Also got some 3A title regional. We got Morton EP. Right? Morton Washington.
Morton Washington is on Friday, yeah.
Yes.
So looking ahead to Thursday, we obviously have Lewistown and Illini Bluffs. Richwoods and Geneseo is at Canton. Richwoods beat Geneseo 54-27 at State Farm.
Right.
Peoria High versus Rock Island. Peoria High won 60-56 in overtime. First game of the season. So it'll be interesting to see how both of those teams have progressed. And Metamora versus Kankakee. Kankakee's in the top 10. They have a really prolific scorer. She's in the top 15 in all-time store, Ambrita store. So it'll be, Brianna Morrow and Metamora, they'll probably game plan. They'll maybe throw some junk defense at her.
I was going to say, I feel like Metamora has some depth. They can just throw some bodies at her. Yeah,
absolutely. And then the third meeting between Morton and Washington is Friday night. And, Morton, unfortunately, will not be with Raquel Frakes, who tore her ACL. Right. Maddie Becker, who has an ACL tear. Lindsay Dullard is fully healed from her concussion. Peyton Deering, who had to sit out with kidney stones, is back. So, minus Frakes and Becker, those two, Morton should be at full strength. And, Washington playing at home, you never know.
All right, well, let's look ahead a little bit on the boys' side. Trying to get a big Tri-County tilt and big Mid-Illini tilt as well.
Oh, yeah, we'll start with the small school. You're going to have a Tri-County Conference champion crowned on Friday night. Roanoke Benson at 29-1, 8-0 goes to Peoria Christian.
Oh, let me double check here. We're going to talk about Peoria Christian again.
You got to talk about it.
Shocker.
One more time.
Jeez.
But 22-7, 8-0, and that was a really good game when they played last month. They played Roanoke won the Tri-County Conference tournament, and they beat them by 4. So just a really entertaining game, an all-out battle. So I think it'll be a really fun matchup, and it could really go either way because both these teams are so athletic and they're deep. They have a lot of different guys that come in and score. So it's like we were talking about Jack Weber, Luke Brayman, Peoria Christian's got Daniel Duncan, Wes Hunt. So when they're both, like Duvey said, some teams when they're at full strength can just be so dangerous. And I think that'll probably be a game that comes down to the last minute. So
I love it when conference schedules work out like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And speaking of that, kind of working that way a little bit. It's not the last game of the season for the Mid-Illini, but Washington Metamora.
If things kind of work out,
Metamora's gonna have to get past Pekin.
Metamora is say they get past Pekin, they'd be setting up a game with Washington, a Mid-Illini leader at 9-2, and that would put Metamora 9-3. So that'd be a really interesting game. That's on the road now. The Panthers got to go there. They beat them in the first matchup at home, and it came down to like late free throws. So I think that's going to be another. These two games will be decided kind of in the last minute, I think. So there'll be some tight games. And Metamora Washington always kind of comes down to a hard fought game. So
seems like in every sport. Mm-hmm. Well, while we're there, we'll stay on the picks. Who you like in that Washington Metamora game, John?
I'm going to go with Metamora this time. So I kind of split it for the season. Washington got the first one. But I'll go with Metamora. Ethan Kaiser's been really impressive over there. Gabe Mason, I think like I said, they match up well with them. But I think Metamora's going to find a way to get this one. Especially being at home, it's going to be a packed house for them. So.
Yeah.
Give me the Birds.
Birds.
Caleb Kaiser, Ethan Kaiser, Danny Greaves.
Yeah.
Justin Dame. Loyal listener, shout out.
Got to go with the Birds.
I'm going to go with Metamora as well. I kind of feel that way. The Pekin game interests me before that. They got to get past and Washington, too. I feel like they got a couple winnable games to end the season. I feel like they might be a little bit of a trap game there. And again, the road thing is the biggest thing, I think, going to Metamora and winning.
On the girls' side.
Yes. That's where we're going.
I will not pick tomorrow night's game, but I will pick the
Which game are you talking about?
The Lewistown Illini Bluffs game. I'm not going to pick that, but I will say that Monday for the Class 3A Rock Island sectional semifinals, I will have Richwoods versus Morton and Peoria High versus Metamora.
Whoa.
I'm going all four. I'm going the Big 12 Mid-Illini crossover.
I like it. Nice. I will pick that tomorrow's game, though, by the way.
Okay.
Greg Bennett. I mean, Lewistown. Town. They're too good. Yeah. I feel like this is their year to go for it. I mean, I honestly think this year they're going to win the title. It feels like everything's in the cards for them. Yeah, this is it. I think this is, and I mean, Roberts is not going to go down without a fight, of course.
Absolutely not.
Final game is he can spend more time being a senior Olympian and winning all his like softball toss awards and
absolutely
shot put or whatever it is. John, how about you?
I've picked them in the last couple of weeks. I'm just going to stick with it now. Might as well ride it out. But Lewiston.
Yeah, you don't want Greg to find you.
No.
And
I'll give him your number if you want to pick against him.
We'll go with Lewistown.
Contrasting styles.
Curly Boo is saying nothing. We're getting a little message here from
CBJ Metamora over King.
Legendary basketball icon, Peoria icon, Curly Boo Johnson.
He says
former Harlem
Metamora
Globetrotter.
over Kankakee. Hope so. It looks like a prayer face emoji. I'm going with the birds.
Curly's emoji game strong.
Definitely strong. Definitely.
All right. Anything else we want to go over here this
Tonight,
yes,
Pekin,
that's right.
Pekin 12 and 15 has to go down to Collinsville and play the 4A second-ranked Edwardsville Tigers, 26 and 1, 6 p.m. in a 4-team regional. It's a regional semifinal. So the Dragons are one of the 8 remaining Journal Star area teams. Yeah, we were wiped out on Monday and Tuesday in 2A. Illini West, Knoxville lost on Monday, and
Fieldcrest lost.
Fieldcrest lost in overtime to Joliet Catholic last night. So
We got Matt Troja, Hayworth Delavan 5th grade prediction.
I'm going with Delavan.
I'll go with Delavan in that.
Delavan running clock.
Yeah,
Wow. Do his kids play for Delavan?
No, Hayworth.
Wow.
that's good, Delavan.
That's just no respect. No respect.
The other thing before we wrap up too, if I forgot to mention on that game on Friday, is that Roanoke moved up to number 2 in the, the state ranks. They're tied for second as well. So they
Roanoke feels prime to me.
moved up from
I really
4th.
do. That loss, I think, reset the ship, and now they don't have to worry about all the inevitable statewide stories that come with an unbeaten state champion going to happen. Blah blah blah. Like no, it's primed. Well, watch this weekend. Follow these guys on Twitter if you're not already. At Adam Duvall and at JKOM91 and at hashtag PJS Preps. You can follow score results. We'll tweet our stories out. All that. That's at pjstar.com/preps. So for Adam Duvall and John Camosa, I'm sports editor Wes Hewitt saying bye.